Good morning, Mr. Trump. This is day 17 of the video messages to you. And, you know, I appreciate the box and I appreciate the letter. And hopefully, before this is all said and done, we can work out a time and a place to sit down and have that 30-minute talk we've been asking to have. You know, I'm starting to get a lot of emails and messages from people all over the United States that would like to put their 2 cents in to try and fix this country. One of them that came in last night was about you can't even spank your own child in this country to teach him some respect on others and how to take care of people's property without the law butting in. You remember back in the day when your mom used to take one of them surveying slats or a twig from the tree and beat your ass when you needed it beat. But you grew up with a whole lot more respect than they're growing up with today, aren't they? So really it pretty much boils down to Americans just would like to have their freedom back. Makes no sense that a state or a city or even Congress can just pass a law on a whim and change our entire lives, taking our property away and making it to where it's illegal for us to do certain things that we've done for hundreds of years. Since we started these video messages, our following has grown to the point that we actually set a record by raising $20,000 in 5 days to file a lawsuit against the state of Ohio. And we'd like to have our animals back from the state of Ohio. But you know, one thing that really bothers me is once we get this shit started, we're going to file felony animal cruelty charges on the governor and the guy who's taking care of them lions down there at Reynoldsburg in that prison. Because they should be no more exempt from the law, from animal cruelty, than any of us are. They let that lion lay there and get bed sores to the point that his bones are sticking out. Then they euthanized him when nobody wanted to take care of him anymore. But that come from a private home that was loving, caring, and that's all we want, is to put things back in perspective and let the American people decide what the hell we want to do with our own lives. I've been asking you 6 questions for the last I don't know how many days, and I'm going to ask you those same 6 right now. Here in America, we have a war in the animal world and the animal rights people in order to take our rights away, and 62.8 million people here in America own pets, and we'd like to know your comments and your concerns about a few issues. Question number 1. How do you feel about 501c3 organizations here in America that are scamming the public for hundreds of millions of dollars to take care of animals, and none of it goes to the animals? 90% of it goes to lobbyists to pass laws to further their agenda. 2, it seems like terrorist is the #1 topic anytime you turn the news on anymore. Are you aware that our own government, the United States Department of Agriculture, declared PETA a #1 domestic terrorist in the United States on November the 30th, 2009, and they're still a non-profit tax organization here in America? How can you be a terrorist and get a tax break from your own country right here in America? 3, we'd like to know your opinion on how you feel on online bullying, not only of children, but adults, in the name of free speech, in order to bash somebody and ruin their reputation and their good name, only to make money for yourself and get away with it under the Declaration of Free Speech. 4, we'd like to know how come us Americans that own our own property, own our own houses, and pay taxes on them do not have the right to have our own pets that we choose to have on our property or in our homes. Number 5, do you not think that we Americans have the right to assume the risk of our profession, no different than a cop, a firefighter, an oil rig worker, or anyone else that has the assumption of the risk of their professions? It is our right. And please, if you become president, give us back our right. And number 6, one of the most important, and this kind of touched on your speech at the Oklahoma State Fair about things being made in other countries and taxing them when they come into America. Do you not believe that it should be a right that any product made from the rainforest or an animal's habitat somewhere in the world should be taxed in order to be sold in America, and that tax money go back to helping rebuild the habitat and the rainforest so some of these animals don't become extinct in the futures to come? I'm Joe Exotic, and along with 62.8 million other people, we'd like to know if you have any answers for any of this. And you wouldn't believe the support you would get. But this war on American citizens and their animals has got to come to a stop. To close this video message for today, Mr. Trump, it'd be pretty easy to clean up America with just a few problems. That is, give the paddle back to a principal. 2, kick their asses off unemployment, make them get a job. 3, quit giving bonus checks at the end of the year every time somebody has a baby out of wedlock, a single parent. 4, give us our rights back to have our animals on our property. And you know the biggest thing that would straighten all this up? Instead of letting Congress vote or the House of Representatives or the Senate, let the American people vote.